All right, I think we're good. Okay, we're gonna get started, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. It's still morning, right? So today is the second eclipse in this eclipse season. It's a lunar eclipse, blood moon. I think it should be visible tonight. So take a look. But don't linger too much in it. It's like eclipse energy is not necessarily when you want to bathe in traditionally. But this eclipse actually wraps up this final cycle that we've all been in. Eclipses go into two signs every 18 months-ish. And this is the last one on the Taurus and Scorpio axis. So this lunar eclipse is at 5 degrees of Taurus. And it's, if you look back over the past 18 months of your life, you can kind of pick some themes or things that have happened that have felt very karmic or not in your control, right? There's moments in life that kind of take us in one direction or another and feel very fated or life-changing, usually have to do with the energy of the lunar nodes, which is where the eclipses happen. And so that particular area of our chart and of our life is kind of wrapping up this cycle. And for me, it's very obvious because we've been planning this major construction project for that entire length of time, and it's finishing up right now. And it's interesting when we have these cycles kind of come and go in our lives that we may be consciously aware of, we may not be. But when we are, we can kind of participate in them a little bit more and at least be aware of when doors open and when doors close. So the energy of today and of the past few weeks and into next month, there's a really intense energy overall, which you don't need to know anything about astrology to realize, just turn on the news. And we'll still stay in this into November. And so what can we do and how can we work with this? So much of it is just about taking a step back and not acting right now. Not needing to make anything happen, to push the boulder up the hill, but rather to kind of realize it's already rolling down and let it and get out of its way, right? So we'll work with this a little bit in our yoga practice today, this energy of allowing, of where we need to put in effort and where we need to back off. And that's in every yoga pose. There's a balance of effort and ease. Where do we engage with, on Anusara yoga, it's called muscular energy, this hugging in that happens in every yoga pose. And how do we balance that with organic energy, which is more of that energy of extension, of letting go, of allowing, this feminine and masculine, this yin and yang. And we'll also do some moon salutations today in honor of the full moon and the eclipse. So let's take a nice comfortable seat. Close your eyes. Sit up nice and tall. And welcome your breath. Notice your breath in your body and the quality of your breathing. So is your breath deep and nourishing? Or is it short, stagnant, shallow? And if the latter is the case, then can you slowly begin to lengthen and deepen each inhale and each exhale? And then notice your sitting bones and your seat on the ground or your props or your mat beneath you. Come more towards the fronts of your sitting bones so that you have a little forward tilt of your pelvis and the pelvic bowl is upright. And then allow your pelvis, your hips, your legs and thighs to all get heavy and wide. You could think about growing roots deep and wide into the earth beneath you. And then as you inhale, lengthen up your spine. Sit a little taller, take the shoulders up, back and down, reach out through the crown of your head. Very subtly lean back, as if you're being supported by something greater than yourself. Relax your tongue in your mouth so that it gets heavy and wide on the lower palate. Widen your eyebrows and smooth out your forehead. And take this moment to pause. To bring your awareness and your attention to anything in your life right now where this energy could be a strength. The strength of pausing. Maybe not initiating a response or reaction right away. If there's something that's playing out that perhaps you could just take a step back from and notice. So we do that here. Take a step back from our thinking mind, from our thinking brain. It's always going, going, going. And when we begin this practice of witnessing ourselves here on our mat, we can become aware that there's very distinctly two parts of ourselves. That our brain and our thought patterns are not the same as our heart center, our inner light. So can we drop into that space? The space of our heart. And here you could even take your awareness back and down. And notice what happens when we become more heart-centered. In astrology, this could be compared to the energy of the sun and the moon. This divine masculine and feminine. When we have a full moon, like we do today, there's this balance, this opposition, where the sun and the moon are as far away from each other as they can get, and equidistant. So as you linger here in this little pause, this mini meditation, you could check in to see if those energies are in balance in your life or in your body right now. Maybe there needs to be a little more masculine energy, more muscular engagement in the core to sit up taller. Or maybe there needs to be a little more of this feminine release, relaxing and letting go, softening. And then please bring your hands together in front of your heart. I invite you to set an intention for your practice today. It could be to just pause, to witness, to stay present, or to find balance. You can also make it very personal to you, your own theme. And then let's begin our class and seal in our intentions with 3 cleansing breaths. Take a deep breath in and let it go with a sigh. 2 more like that. And gently bow your head to your heart. Slowly open your eyes, release your hands. Let's come onto all fours. So we'll start here in tabletop with your knees just under your hips or slightly behind, your wrists under your shoulders, take your hands wide on your mat. Take a few breaths in here without moving. Tone your belly, draw your low belly in to support the low back. Melt and soften the heart. Take the shoulder blades on to the back. Reach out through the crown of your head. Few breaths just like this. See that your index fingers point straight ahead and that the eyes of your elbows face in towards each other. Then on your next inhale, come into your cow tilt, where your sitting bones lift, tailbone lifts, soften the belly, melt the heart, gaze up, little back bend. And then exhale into your cat tilt. Lengthen the tailbone down, draw the belly in, pull your rib cage back, and bring your chin into your chest. Flow with your breath. And here you can begin to notice those 2 opposing energies, the stability in your pose as you move your hands down, the stability of your knees and feet on the ground, and then the movement and flexibility of the rest of the body, this ebb and flow, effort and ease. On your next inhale, come back to your neutral spine, tone the belly again. You're going to shift all of your weight into your left hand, and as you inhale, bring your right arm up as you twist open. See if you can keep your pelvis and hips level. Exhale, release your right hand down. Inhale, sweep your left arm. Couple of breaths here. Maybe you don't twist open quite as much by keeping the lower half of the body more stable. That's okay. Exhale, release. Once again to the other side. Inhale, right arm up. Exhale, release. And one more time to the left. And let it go. From here, tuck your toes if they're not already. Send your hips up and back into downward facing dog. You can pedal out through your legs here, bend one knee, send the opposite heel towards the earth. Waking up the body, noticing if down dog feels like a lot of work, if there's more effort. Eventually, through our practice, the pose does become one of more ease and rest, but not always, and usually not initially. Take a look back at your feet. See that your heels are hidden behind your feet. Hug your shins in towards each other. All 4 corners of your kneecaps point straight ahead. Press your thighs back as you lift your sitting bones up. Root down through your hands, especially the bones of your index fingers and thumbs. And then see if you can find more length and space in the spine. And more length and space as the crown of the head moves towards your thumbs. Three more breaths here. And on your next inhale, walk your feet forward to meet your hands. Exhale as you fold. Now over your legs. Knees could stay bent, especially on this first one. Then inhale, reach your arms all the way up to the sky. Exhale, hands to your heart. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, bow forward and fold. Inhale, lengthen halfway to a flat back. And then exhale, step back into downward facing dog. We'll just move through a sun salutation here. Energy of this vitality and masculine sunlight. Inhale from down dog forward to a high plank. Press out through your heels. Lengthen your sternum forward. You can bring your knees down or roll forward on your toes. Bend your elbows straight back. Lower all the way down to a plank. To a low plank rather, chaturanga. Take your shoulders up, back, and down. Point your toes. Press the tops of the feet down into the ground. Inhale, lift your heart forward and up. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, walk your feet forward to meet your hands. Exhale as you fold. Toe heel your feet a little wider, outer hip distance apart. Grab onto opposite elbow tips and let yourself hang like a rag doll. You can keep your knees bent or straighten out your legs here, depending on your hamstrings. You could sway side to side. And then see if you could really let your head, really let it go. Notice if you're holding tension in your jaw, in your shoulders, maybe in the deep center of your tongue. Can you consciously try to relax and release all of that? And then bend your knees. If they're not already, release the clasp of your elbows. And very slowly begin to roll your spine up, stacking one vertebrae at a time, keeping the knees bent to protect your low back. And when you come up, let's do a few shoulder rolls. Take your shoulders up, back, and down. And then take 2 blocks. You're going to have them at either side at the back of your mat, and then you'll face forward towards me. So moon salutations are different than sun salutations in that we move a lot slower through them. It's a little more involved. It has a full cycle to it, just like the lunar phases. So it may feel a little awkward to start, more so than the sun sals that we're used to. So you'll stand with your feet parallel, sitting bone or hip distance apart. And then inhale, reach your arms up. Interlace your fingers, steeple your index fingers. Squeeze your arms in towards your ears. Move down through your feet and lengthen up through the crown of your head. Take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, reach out and over to the right. And press your hips to the left. Few breaths here. See if you could keep your torso facing forward. Yeah, so that left rib cage moves back a little bit. Inhale back up to center. And then from here, exhale, step out into goddess. You can take your time, toes turn out. Bend your knees, try to track your knees over your second toe. Couple of breaths here. Knit your rib cage in, engage your belly. Then press into your feet and inhale, come on up into star. A few breaths here, strength, stretch and lengthen. And then inhale your arms out to a T. Turn your left toes in, your right toes out. Good. You're going to come into Trikonasana, to triangle pose. So you'll reach your right fingers past your toes, bring your hand down onto your block. Your block can come on the outside of your right shin. Left arm up to the sky, palm faces forward. Couple of breaths here. You could stay just like this, or we'll move into half moon. So if you're coming into half moon pose, you'll bring your left hand to your hip, and bend your right knee. You'll step your block forward and over to the right a little bit, and toe heel your back foot in slightly. Get really stable and steady through your right foot, and then when you're ready, you'll step up into half moon. Focus first on your back leg and just getting that up. And then maybe the arm can follow, and then maybe the gaze comes up to your top. Breathe. Good, and then you'll bring your hand back down to your hip, slowly step back. And we'll come into a lunge here. So your left heel turns up, bring your hands down to the mat. Framing your front foot. Couple of breaths like this. And then from here we come into this pose, it's called Skandasana. And so it's kind of like a side lunge. You'll walk your hands to the inside of your front foot and your back heel turns up. You can even come up onto your toes here. So it just looks like this. It's a little awkward. And then from there, you'll walk your hands over to the left until you're in a wide-legged forward fold, Padottanasana. This time your feet are parallel. And that's one half of our moon salutation. So take a moment and pause here. Pause in the center of this journey. The energy of the sun and sun salutations asks us to move more quickly, build more heat. Every breath gets a movement. And in our moon salutations, we have to slow down. We're holding each pose a little longer. May not feel as comfortable to move at this pace. To slow down and turn more inward. And then from here, you'll walk your hands over to the left, and we'll find that Skandasana on the second side. So you come up into the ball of the left foot, and your right toes, up on the heel, and they turn up. So it could kind of even be like a balance like this. You can keep your hands down, just for a breath or two. And then you'll walk your hands over and come to your lunge. Left toes turn forward. You're now framing your foot with both hands and your back heels up. That's it. And now from here, we're going to step up into our half moon pose. So you can take a little step in with your back foot. Take your hand, left hand to your block. Move the block up and a little over to the left. Bring all of your weight into your left foot. And then when you're ready, find half moon, Ardha Chandrasana. Whatever it looks like for you today. Give yourself some grace. Not every day we're balancing on one foot with our leg up in the air. And then from here, very carefully, you'll step back into triangle pose. So you bring your right hand down to your hip, step your right foot back, walk your left hand back with your block until you get your feet set up in Trikonasana, and then straighten your front leg, gaze up into your top thumb. And then put a little bend into your front knee. From your right wrist, inhale, come all the way up. Bring your arms up, turn both feet out into star. Full breath in. Exhale, back into goddess. Inhale, come back up into star and then step in. Interlace your fingers, steeple your index fingers. Take a deep breath in, lengthen, and exhale, reach out and over to the left. Send your hips to the right. In crescent. Completing the cycle. Inhale back to center and exhale, release. Take a moment, stand in mountain pose, close your eyes, pause, and notice the difference. Notice the state of being in your body. Honoring all parts of the journey, of the phase and the cycle in both our moon salutations and our lives. And then bring your hands together at your heart, step up to the top of your mat. And when you're ready, inhale, reach your arms. Exhale, bow forward and bow. Inhale, lengthen halfway to the flat back. Exhale, step back, downward facing dog. You can stay right there in down dog, move through vinyasa. We'll all end in child's pose. So wherever you are in your practice, we'll meet in a wide knee child's pose. When you come into child's pose, give yourself permission to turn inward. You could again drop your awareness back and down from your head into your heart. From here, make your way onto your back. And when you arrive on your back, kick the soles of your feet together, knees wide, one hand to your heart, one hand to your belly, then Supta Baddha Konasana. You could use blocks under your thighs. And here, see if you could drop the weight of your body into your mat, into the earth a little bit more. Inhaling your knees back up to center. Take your feet as wide as your mat and knock your knees onto each other in constructive rest. Bring your knees back up to center and toe heel your feet back in until they're parallel, sitting bone or hip distance apart. Cross your left ankle over the top of your right thigh. Flex your left foot. You could stay just like this. Focus on keeping the weight even through your sacrum, the part of your pelvis that's on the mat. Or you could pick up your right foot and interlace your hands behind your thigh or on top of your shin in this reclined pigeon. You could imagine that as you inhale, you take in a cleansing breath. That's like a autumn breeze that comes in and blows out the leaves that have gathered in your hip, in your knee, your ankle, wherever there's stagnant or stuck energy. You could also visualize this as a rush of water or a colored light. Relax your shoulders back and down. Go ahead and release. Bring your right foot down to the ground. Hug your left knee into your chest. You could keep your right leg just as it is or extend it long. And take a few breaths here, pulling your knee into your chest as tightly as you can, putting some pressure there in the hip flexor and on the top of your thigh. This is a great pose for digestion and just moving some energy through the body. Allowing things to cycle through. And then if you didn't extend your right leg yet, please do so now. Take your left knee in your right hand, bring your left arm out to a T or to cactus. Take an inhale here, and as you exhale, twist. Diagonally across your body, over to the right. You can even pick up your hips, move them an inch to the left. If your left shoulder pops up, just bring your left hand to rest on your left rib cage. You can stay here like this, or you could bend your right knee, your extended leg that's on the ground, bend that, and then see if you could grab your foot with your left hand. So this is called a cat tail twist, like a cat grabbing its own tail. It makes you feel a little like a pretzel. And if this bind doesn't happen today, no worries. And wherever you are, you can release, coming back up through center. Extend your left leg to meet your right. Take a pause in a mini shavasana. And then from here, you'll bend both knees and place your feet on the ground. Cross your right ankle over the left thigh. Check in with your body here. The side may be very different. See if you could level out the weight on your sacrum. You can let this be your pose, or you could pick up your left foot and interlace your hands behind your thigh. In this pose, we need a certain amount of effort. Hold up the shape of our legs, to engage our leg, to safely protect the knee as we stretch into the hip. And then there's an equal amount of energy that we need to let go of. We need to practice this passive, organic energy of softening, releasing tension, allowing more breath to flow more freely. You could take some of those cleansing breaths, intending that anything that's stuck or any tension, any gripping in the body gets moved out. Go ahead and release the clasp of your hands. Bring your left foot down onto the ground. Hug your right knee into your chest. And whatever you did on the first side, you could repeat here. Either you keep your left foot on the ground with the knee bent, or you extend your left leg long. See if you could really hug the leg in and put some pressure on the top of the thigh. And this way we kind of dam up the blood in the body so that when we release, we have fresh oxygenated blood moving into all of those areas. From here, take your right knee in your left hand, bring your right arm out to the side, either in a T or a cactus. Breathe in, and as you exhale, twist. Bring your knee across your body, over to the left. You can roll onto the outer left hip. And here, if you pick up your hips and move them an inch to the right, it does make the cattail part of this twist a little more accessible. So if you want to go ahead and try that, you could bend to your left knee, reach back for your foot. Go ahead and release the clasp of your foot if you have it. We'll all come out of the twist, unwind, pause once again in Shavasana. Inhale, reach your arms overhead, take a full body stretch. Exhale, hug both knees into your chest. You can give yourself a little massage here on your low back. And then slowly roll to your right side. Make your way up to sit. Here, take the soles of your feet together, your knees wide, move the flesh away from your sitting bones, and play with how far away from your pelvis your feet land. So you could take your feet a little further, draw them in a little bit more. Press your feet into each other and then extend out through your thighs. Inhale, lengthen up through your spine. Exhale, hinge from your hips as you start to fold forward. Notice where your edge is, that moment of the pose where it's just far enough out of your comfort zone without moving into pain. And then take a deep breath in, a full breath out. And see if you could surrender a little bit more into your posture. Maybe that means just committing to holding the shape for a length of time and noticing what you find. Inhale to rise. Bring your hands to the backs of your thighs and help bring your knees back up. And then take your feet wide, legs wide. You can have your blocks out in front of you here. Sometimes that's nice. Once again, to flush away from your sitting bones so that ideally your pelvis is upright or maybe even tilting slightly forward. Knees and toes point straight up. Flex your feet. Take an inhale, lengthen, and as you exhale, hinge from your hips. Maybe it's not very far. And then you can bring your forearms to your blocks. Maybe it's really high. Maybe they're a little lower. With every inhale, see if you could lengthen through the spine, lengthening out of your pelvis, and with every exhale, there's a softening. Notice all of the points where your body touches the ground and let those get heavy and grounded. Let them anchor. And this is very much the energy of Taurus. Taurus is the earth, the sturdy ground, the fertile soil into which we plant and grow our roots, on which we build the structures and foundations of our lives. And then on the opposite side of that axis, we have Scorpio, which is the ultimate letting go, death, and the shedding of one's skin, elimination, detoxification, complete release. So if we think back on these past 18 months, maybe back to April of last year, we can see where these themes have played out, what we've been building, what we've been growing, and what we've been shedding, who we're becoming, and how we react and respond to this process, whether we embrace it and allow, or whether we resist and try to control. And because we're human, there's always a blend of all of those things. Let's just take a few more breaths here. Inhale to rise. Bring your hands to the backs of the thighs. And once again, a little assist to get your legs back to center. From here, we'll set up for our final relaxation. You can either do legs up the wall, which I think would be a nice way to end, or if that doesn't appeal to you and you know that it's not a pose you can relax in, then you can take Shavasana. If you're coming to legs up the wall, you can always put a blanket down, especially under your head. And then you'll come to sit with one hip up to the wall, lean back on your hands, pivot and swing your legs up, and then shimmy and scooch in towards the wall. Or you set yourself up in whatever comfortable Shavasana works for your body today. Propped up as you like. And then once you get to wherever it is that you are taking your final rest in, whichever shape you choose, let's take 3 cleansing breaths. Full breath in. Let it go. 2 more like that. Relax your tongue in your mouth. Widen the corners of your eyes. And let your eyeballs descend back into their sockets. Give yourself permission here to fully relax and surrender as you take your legs up the wall shavasana.
Draw yourself in my pride, sweet. I am so free. You are the eyes of you're going now. You're going now. You're going now.
Ribbons back into your body. Your fingers. Your toes. And then if your legs are up the wall, you can bend your knees and slide your feet down. Take a couple of breaths here. And then when you're ready, put your knees into your chest. Roll to your right side, take a pause here. In your own time, whatever feels best for you, you can slowly make your way back up to find a comfortable seat. And once you arrive, close your eyes. Bring your hands together in front of your heart. Call back your intention that you set at the beginning of class. Feel free to modify or change it in any way to use for the rest of your day or your week, carrying it with you off of your mat and back out into your life. And then take a moment to honor all of your cycles, your phases in life, your different identities, all parts of what make you you and brought you right to this moment. And then let's honor each other for our collective and shared yoga practice together. End our class and seal in our intentions with a final cleansing breath. Take a deep breath in. Let it go. Gently bow your head to your heart. The light within me recognizes and honors this very same light in each one of you. Namaste. Namaste. Thank you so much for your practice today. Enjoy the rest of this beautiful fall day. Hopefully I'll see you next week. Welcome. Thanks, Debbie.
Thanks, Erin. See you later. Have a nice weekend.
Have a good day. You too.